guys. Today we're going to be looking at the first Summer 2021 Zelda tournament match between LestWeForget and Travis Scott. It looks like Lest's name is kind of bugged out here. It doesn't look like the right name, and here we have another kind of glitchy scenario. But regardless, red is going to be LestWeForget. So here we have Travis building his two docks when he has 3 builds, which is pretty normal. We have Lest building 2 docks as Odin, and let's see here. Set is Travis has set, and he's doing the farming as you should. Not sure why he's doing it so far there, but probably trying to gold after he gets 100 food. So just a quick reminder, with Zelda you basically have to build a TC in the first, definitely before the first 2 minutes, but that can be flexible depending on your strategy. You usually put fishing ships on auto queue here, and that's what Lest is doing. And looking at Travis, he's Egyptian, so he is able to build another dock here additionally when only having 3 villagers. And just to remember that docks cost gold as Egypt, so do not worry about that. It looks like at 117 or so he built his first TC. Still waiting on Lest here. That is normal as non-Egyptians to not build as quickly as Egyptians. He's scouting out here. Okay, we have 1 bill here, 2 bills on wood. About 10 fishing ships there. Looks like Let's just started at 143. About 9 fishing ships. Yeah, you typically don't want to throw everything at the TC. You want to have 1 or 2 bills at max, especially when you only have 3 bills. He's building his temple here at almost 2 minutes. How many fishing ships do we have? We have 11 here. Almost halfway done with the TC. This guy is Travis's. I'll say blue and red from now on. So blue is almost done with the TC. Looking at 15 ships. So he's scouting out the ships and the entrance, of course. Okay, he's almost done there. Okay, that's a quick. Let's see, how much food are we talking about here? He's trying to get enough food to age. Okay, looks like he didn't pump out too many bills on this side. Just depends on your strategy and your timing. Sometimes, if I'm very early, I like to get at least 2 or 3 additional bills out of the Egyptian TC. Okay. He's aging. There's 15 ships, 17 here, and aging. Looks like they're ready to build the next TC. Right, so you want your second TC as soon as you possibly can. If you're Atlantean, you want to be building that while your first one's being built, or very soon to that, because of your disadvantage in pumping out villagers. So he's done here with aging. Less is about 50%. 17 ships. Looks like almost done with the upgrades, the initial upgrades. What's going on now? He's sending out his, myth unit and the rest of the gang out. Not much you can do with them. You can pretty much just defend a villa or 2 in the very early stages. Got a barracks going on here. Wall. Second TC's being built. And second TC here. early game stuff, and it's extremely crucial. I myself, I'm not particularly the greatest at, optimizing the first, say, 7 or 8 minutes. So we have 4 Norse army men here, infantry, building that TC. Empowering the second TC. Some barracks. The Egyptian builds are just horrible at building. Super slow, but they do train faster though, so that's nice. We have blue here scouting out red's area. 17 ships here. I thought 18, but last time I checked it was 17 a while ago. Okay, so second TC there at about 5 minutes and a half for both. Building the barracks way in here, I'm not sure. He's probably just trying to, he's anticipating a rush or attack or some kind. That's probably why he's trying to just build a defensive army here inside. I would be throwing these 2 more villagers at this. It's just way too slow. What do we have here? We have 5 Ulfs and 1 Herseer, 1, always forget her name, Freya or Valkyrie. Okay. More barracks. That 3rd one we should be getting soon. Talking about 18 ships. They're matching in terms of ships. What is he pumping out? He's doing medium axemen as expected. I think he did see that he has infantry coming. Okay, red is walling up here. Not sure why he's scouting way out there. Okay. Probably just doesn't want to get it destroyed early on. If he's doing it way close here, less or red is going to see it. And he also doesn't have a wall and doesn't have a big army either. If I had at least 10 units or so, I'd be confident enough to not have a wall, but 2 or 3 is not enough at all. Let's see. Getting started on that 3rd TC, and he's not empowering. He forgot to get that working right. Let's see, look at the resources. We have 20 on food, 25 for red, 5 on wood for red, 12. Okay, so Travis, as expected, has many more builds on gold. Looks like he has about 8 axemen now, 9. Let's look at their hack damage is 6. Always wondered, looking for a good excuse to look at the analytics here. 9 here, 30% hack armor. So we have a slight trade-off here between the medium axemen and the Ulfsarks. Of course, Ulfsarks are optimized for cavalry, so we have to keep that in mind too. Sometimes you can spam out many Ulfs and have them do the job. So that works out fine. Let's go back to here. It doesn't look like he has a 3rd TC yet. May not need to if you're rushing. We're at 8 minutes. We have a defensive army here of 17 axemen and a few others. Does he have a... Looks like he's building the armory here. Yeah, I also like to make 2 or 3 so that you can run things in parallel. Okay, looks like it's not so defensive anymore. Okay, the 3rd TC is going to be outside here. Okay, he's taking out his wall. Let's see how red responds. He's going to finish out that. Okay, he's on the 3rd age. Heroic age. Okay, so the first major conflict is happening here, and it looks like he was seeing the whole thing there. 2 here for scouting. Okay, so he's pulling back because that's not a good idea to go near a TC doing that. get a siege first, get like 2 or 3 siege at least, and then start going at it. Some cav there, so okay, more units here. I don't know if he's aware. Barracks with 1 build, that's or 2 build, it's not fast enough. At this point I would have gotten the, he's not aware of this either, but let's go back here. Lots of cav. Fort. Okay, let's see what's going on. Lots of ships. Let's go back here. Okay. Let's see if there's any microing going. I don't think there's much microing going on except for dividing them out into groups, and there, of course there's no wall here, so that's where the, and red's gonna burn up the trees here with the Freya god power. I'm afraid it's a bit too late to get the barracks going up here, so a lot of anti-infantry going against cavalry. I would have used that god power nearby the Ville, so at least you can slow down the enemy a little bit, but there's no wall here, so there was no need to do it here. So we have some rams, houses there. It looks like he has purely a infantry army here. There's some actually spearmen too. Could use that ancestor god power here. Okay, so it looks like red used his, to remember the name, the walking woods, right? So using up his walking woods. Not much defenses here for that 3rd or 4th TC. What is red doing there? Just emergency base out there, I guess. Okay, so 1 myth unit here, 1 on the red side. They only have the first 2 upgrades from the armory. Now we're finally getting a Migdol stronghold here, which should have been there a little bit sooner for the cavalry. Let's see what he's gonna train. At this point I would, of course it would have to be anti-cav, so is that what he's doing? No. So we have some Jarls here from the red side and some other raiders, you know, regular cav. And so what he should be really getting is the anti-cav cavalry, basically. I forget their name. We have a few priests taking care of that mountain giant. Of course red has the advantage in terms of TC, so population he has more of, and yeah, he's still cranking out the cavalry archer, which is not, it's working out at the moment just because of the numbers, but given all the Jarls and cavalry I wouldn't be getting that. Although if you're lacking resources, then I suppose you could. I think that's what's happening actually, is that he just doesn't have enough food to be cranking out anti-cav cavalry, so he's just using instead the chariot archer, which is wood and gold basically. So prioritizing taking out that hill fort. It's a pretty decent defense. Some siege here would be in order. I mean, either elephants or actual delegates, and he has obviously idle builds, and that's not good. He should either be building some towers here and then reinforcing with a wall back here, or building some siege. He's upgraded. Looks like just basic army upgrades. And how many do we have? We have, doesn't show it correctly, a little over 10 or so. he's pushing back successfully against some of the infantry here and some Jarls. These are X-Men, not Spearmen for Cav. Okay, so still okay, no population there. A lot of idle wheels on the blue side. Of course, he's gonna need more priests here to take care of the fire giants. Those things can be really devastating if coupled together correctly.
Then came the strangers.
Okay, so he's finally building some siege, and he still hasn't taken over this TC, which puts him at a slight disadvantage as of now. Of course, long term it's going to be even more of a disadvantage if he doesn't have that TC soon enough. So we still have a lot of... Okay, now it's actually okay to have these chariot archers because of just there's more axemen here on the red side. So that's actually a fine choice, but they're very quickly withering away. So let's see what he has going on. So a lot of auto queuing it seems like, and kind of random. The barracks are of course too far away, and that's not a great thing there. So a lot of idle wills. He doesn't have a TC yet. I don't see any siege. Let's see. So a lot of fire giants here. He needs a lot more priests, and he looks like he has the gold for it for sure. It's about 15k gold, so he could be just auto queuing priests here, and that's the biggest thing because you can just see these fire giants. If you have 4, 5, 6 of them, they just start decimating away your army, you know, one by one. So yeah, the priest thing is completely not being utilized right now. Of course, we have Red slowly building the infrastructure to support his mighty army here. So a longhouse after a hill fort, and he has good diversity, you know. I wouldn't send the elephant in right there. I mean, I would kind of sneak that in either that way or kind of back through here to get the houses, get the, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 elephants here would have done the job if you upgrade them to war elephants. Looks like he's going to use the meteor soon here. I really hope he doesn't use it on the army because they can just quickly move away. So that's usually not the best way to do that. This I would be sending the Phoenix. I would send to the fishing ships. They don't do much by themselves out here. They're pretty decent if you're just desperate to get the infantry out of the way, but the biggest thing is just these freaking fire giants, and looks like he still hasn't devised a plan to take care of them. I think 5 to 10, kind of going off the fields, 5 to 10, 15 priests would be perfect here. Kind of slowly taking away the fire giants, and the elephant here would not be too useful. We have Ballista and a couple calves coming this way, and he only has 1 Migdol. I would have had 3, 4, 5 Migdols at least. So how I would handle this part. Even as a defensive army, there's still to do and not to do's. So looks like he took out 1 of them. So it looks like he's actually following through with that. So he has about 7 now. And that's the biggest thing, is that you just need to take those fire giants out, because otherwise they're just useless. Even if he had a big army, which he does not, still kind of sending them to their deaths. He needs to kind of like change the rally point and store, let them accrue a little bit so that he can just push out with a big army. So what do we have here? He still hasn't used the meteor, which is good. He's gonna need line of sight on one of these military complexes to be utilizing that power. So it looks like we're mostly good on... Okay, oh, he's been building here. Okay, I've missed that. Okay, good. So he has a TC here, and 1 more Migdol there. He took care of the nuisance there. He needs to pull them back though. I should have been watching that map a little bit more closely. And by the way, guys, this is my first match streaming, so please forgive any inefficiencies in speech or method of streaming. So okay, mostly done with the fire giant threat. There's some Jarls here, raiders and Jarls attacking some TC, or Yeah, that's, I wouldn't have done that. That's not good. Use this meteor on the troops, and you can see immediately just red just pulls it away. Just not a good strategy to use that god power. It would have been much more useful around here somewhere, maybe between these two. That would have been great. So now, yeah, Idle Will's there, just not a... Suspecting that blue is kind of in a panic here. So it still looks like we're auto-queuing and not rallying correctly. We have our emergency mercenaries here.
Download and do it again.
One fire giant isn't devastating to Migdol, but you get 2 or 3 of them and they can definitely do some damage. Looks like the priests are kind of unguarded there with the cav. So again, we have a lot of cav archers, and I'm looking at the resources here. It looks like he's pretty low on just about everything, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. But I suspect the reason he's low on gold is just because he's probably he's spamming out the priests still. And what I would have preferred is to put a temple, you know, delete one of these and put a temple here, auto queue a bunch of, let's say 10 or 12, 13 priests here, and stop auto queuing at that point. Just guard them correctly and let them heal each other when possible. Well, okay, he's making a comeback on this side a bit. He has 7. Let's see, the chariot archers, they have the armory upgrades, but not the actual Migdol upgrades, which is not preferred. You always wanna, you know, get the special upgrades from that particular source, you know, the barracks or the Migdol first, prior to the armory upgrades. Of course, the armory upgrades apply to every, you know, appropriate unit, but you always want to prioritize your Migdol upgrades. So it looks like from both sides we got a little blitz going on here. This side is pretty inactive, but it's pretty equal in terms of pop, so population is pretty even in that sense. No major advantage in pop, but these idle vills, I mean, I would be building probably 2 or 3 more Migdols and just spamming out at this point. Let's see, I would be spamming out a few elephants, because they would really take care of the business here. Not too many fire giants. They require a lot of favor and gold. Let's see, yes, 300 gold. And yeah, the idle vills are just really bothering me. I would be putting them to use somehow, either getting gold, especially with this low amount of gold here, 956. I would at least be putting them to work there, if not building more towers or siege or Migdols, walls. You'd be well served if you just, you know, gets a couple vills and covers that wall up. But there's a little bit of progress here in terms of taking out this major, you know, hill fort, the nuisance in the middle of the map. I would be pulling the priest back at this point and just healing this one guy that's dying here almost. On the other side, we're looking at a few Herseers, 2 or 3 fire giants, a ballista, and of course the Titan here that I completely missed because I was distracted. Okay, so a little bit of microing going on here, but you still need that siege. So the priests are doing pretty well here. A couple more priests. I'll be really worried about the Titan, so I would be spamming out priests, but you need to switch over your... Yeah, this is not good. You need more lumber camps closer to the wood, especially given they're free for Egyptians. So yeah, not enough siege here. I mean, there's one here. Of course, we get attacked here by a lot of ults, and those are just gonna sweep through these archers, cavalry archers, so that's not good. Let's see what upgrades they have. Just a speed upgrade for... That's not good. Okay, so this guy's going that way. He's gonna get killed there by the Olves. And of course we have Ragnarok here, which is pretty much the end of the game. I mean, you have a Titan here, you have superior eco, superior, infrastructure to back it up. And yeah, this is pretty much game over for blue. Be very miraculous if you could come out of this alive. So we have Heroes of Ragnarok kind of beginning to go through here. Okay, so he lost a TC as well, which really puts him at a major disadvantage. Lack of population. So we're pretty much looking at the demise of blue here. Now keep in mind, this is one of the 3 matches. Each person gets, each pair of opponents gets 3 matches. And it looks like here he quit, so we're done with the first match of the series. We'll see you in the next matches.